Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Leslie Weidenbender, and I'm here today with Senator Jim Arnold, who is a Democrat from LaPorte. Senator Arnold, welcome.
Leslie, thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
So one of the biggest bills that you're pushing this year has to do with property taxes in your home of LaPorte County. Tell us about that bill and why it's so important to people there.
Well, Leslie, House Bill 1261 actually originated with Representative Dermody in the House, but we have been in a real tax dilemma in LaPorte County for 6.5 years. Because of the tax situation, the assessment problems we've had, we fell way behind. The lawsuits began flying with office holders suing office holders, residents suing office holders. Because of that, we're the only county in the state that has not been up to date on our assessment, on our values, and on our payments. So subsequently, this bill, 1261, will now put an end to our nightmare. If we get it through, and it'll be coming up now, it passed out of appropriations the other day, it has already passed out of the House. If we get it through, get it to the governor as quickly as possible, there'll be no more reconciliation statements sent out. It'll strictly be one true tax statement sent out at the end of the year, and we'll be caught up after 6.5 years. So it means a lot to us. And it also, I might add, it gives the taxpayer a 6-month leeway to pay their taxes because of the problems we've had. And if they pay it up front, they get a 2% credit. If they drag it out, they can take 6 months to pay it. It's going to win-win for everybody. It's going to pay off for LaPorte County, and we will no longer be the separate color on the state map, but we'll be the same color as everybody else.
Do you have any concern about whether the bill can pass? Are you feeling good about it?
Well, we always have concern, but it passed out of the House with no negative votes. It passed out of appropriations with no negative votes. So when I present it on the floor here, hopefully, if not the latter part of this week, next week, early on this week, I see no reason why anybody should not or should oppose the bill. Again, it's going to help the people of LaPorte County, and so we'll be back to even par with everyone else.
So another piece of legislation that you've been backing actually has a little more statewide impact. It has to do with the Indiana State Museum. How would your bill help the museum?
Well, I'm a member of the museum board appointed by Senator Long, and we want to do everything we can to maintain the Indiana State Museum. By doing this, it kind of takes them out of the flow of another government entity and will allow them to enter into a trust. And they will be able to hire entities to raise funds for them. They will undergo the state audit just like everyone else, but it will make them kind of a separate entity, still answerable to the state, but still be a separate entity allowed to raise funds to maintain the museum. And we think it's going to be a great situation for the museum because they won't be held to the same standards, so to speak, as state agencies, but we still have to go under a annual audit by the state board. So it's a situation that allows a little more freedom of the state museum board, but we're still have to answer to the legislature.
Of course, you're writing a budget in this session, and one of the big questions for lawmakers is what to do about Governor Mike Pence's proposal to cut income taxes by 10%. Where do you stand on that?
Well, that's kind of interesting because we all know that Indiana has a $2+ billion surplus, and everybody right away wants to get into that surplus and fund their programs, and I understand that, and I'm receptive to that. We think that Governor Pence's 10% tax cut sounds good. Anybody that you mention a tax cut to is going to be all in favor of it. I mean, they'd be crazy, so to speak. However, because we do have a shortfall in education, we have a tremendous shortfall in road funding, cities and towns are struggling, perhaps a 10% tax cut is not at the right time at this point. We need to look at ways to refund some of the roads and infrastructure needs of the cities and towns. They're suffering greatly, and I'm a person that believes that we need to take care of our cities and towns.
Thank you so much, Senator Arnold. For Comcast Newsmakers, I'm Leslie Weidenbender.